The absolute number one best way to control weeds is a good, dense, thick stand of turf. Hey there, it's Pete with GCI Turf. Hope you're having a great day. And man, who don't want a weed-free yard? I'm gonna tell you what, I can't stand a dang weed. When Adam and Eve disobeyed the Lord, sin came into the equation. The dirt was not perfect anymore. That's why you get weeds. So how do you control weeds? The absolute best way to control weeds in your yard is to keep that turf grass super duper thick and dense. And you do that by mowing it correctly, watering it correctly, feeding it correctly, and just overall maintaining it correctly. So from time to time, even when you mow correctly, you water correctly, you fertilize correctly, and your yard's super dense and thick, time to time you're still gonna get a weed. That's simply because the dirt isn't perfect. So in that case, you're gonna use products called herbicides. This particular one's called Speed Zone. It's a post-emergent selective herbicide. Herbicides are typically come in three different ways. One will be a pre-emergent, and then we got two groups in the post-emergent. Pre-emergent meaning you apply it and it hinders weeds from coming up so you can see them. That's for a different video. In this case, we're talking about post-emergent, and you would use this once you can visually see the weed with your eyes. You're going to want to put this concentrated form at the rate it requires or the rate it suggests. You'll put it into your sprayer. Your sprayer should be calibrated for this. I'll link up at the end of the video and in the description about how I calibrate this sprayer and to get you going on that. And you would want to mix this with water. This is a concentrate form, so you would not use this straight. You would mix this with water and apply it to your yard. Now, post-emergent herbicides come in two different ways. They come as selective or non-selective. A selective herbicide, kind of like this Speed Zone, means that when you apply it to the yard, this product, this material has the ability to select out certain weeds or make them go away so that you don't see it. And then the other one is a non-selective herbicide. That would be like your glyphosate, like Roundup. By all means, don't go out and spray your yard down with Roundup. You'll kill it dead unless you're intentionally doing a renovation and you want to start over from scratch. Okay, I really want to drive that home because I don't want nobody taking Roundup and spraying their yard. I just said that so that you would know the difference between a selective and a non-selective herbicide. In the case of my yard, it's rare for me to see weeds in my yard because I keep it so dense and so thick. I had a tough time with it last fall, so that exposed a lot of the ground or made some of the turf thin, allowing that sun to penetrate and possibly germinate those weeds, and I'm seeing them now. Another quick note about weed control, post-emergent selective weed controls, typically they're busted up into a couple of groups. There's a big broad variety of ones that control broadleaf weeds like clover, dandelion, plantain, chickweed, hairy bittercress, henbit, all of those type weeds, broadleaf weeds. And then there's other classifications of herbicides that will control grassy type weeds. We're not going after any grassy type weeds today. We're going after broadleaf weeds. And I picked Speed Zone simply because this is a beginner video and this is a very broad spectrum, meaning it covers a big multitude of a lot of different weeds. It's cheap. It comes in a little tiny bottle. It's very easy to use. It's pretty dang safe. So it'd be hard to screw up. So that's what we're going to use today. I've got, there's many different weed controls on the market, triplet, and I mean, it's just, I could go on and on, but for this video, I want to use this one. So there's really two different ways I can apply this. I can either blanket spray, which means I'm going to cover the entire yard area with my water, with my sprayer, with my my product based off how much I need and based off my square feet, or I can spot spray. Today I'm going to spot spray, meaning I'm only going to spray the area where the weed is at. Meaning if I got a weed right here, I'm going to walk over it and fan tip, using my fan tip nozzle, and I'm going to coat that weed with this product. So I've got this sprayer calibrated at 1 gallon per 1,000 square feet. So I've only got 1 gallon of water in here. That's more than enough to cover the amount of weeds that I have. I'm going to use my speed zone. The rate for it, according to the label for fescue, is 1.4 ounces. So I've got 1.4 ounces right here. I'm going to put it in my tank with my water already in the tank. I've got my handy dandy drill. This is a paint stirrer. You can get it at Lowe's. Just a simple cordless drill. I'm going to give it a simple stir. Now, I've got my product in here. My sprayer's been calibrated. I can actually go out and spray the weed if I want to, or spray my yard, or however I'm going to apply it, I can do that. I'm ready to go. But I'm a big fan of adjuvants. I'm a major fan of an adjuvant. I use adjuvants in pretty much every liquid application I do. An adjuvant is going to make what's inside this tank more effective, work better, could possibly make it last longer. There's all types of benefits to adjuvants. Now, if you've been following me for any length of time, you know I've got GCI Turf Natural Adjuvant. What I've done is I've reverted this label back. It was kind of my dream to have my logo on that. And I worked out a deal with the guys that actually manufacture this product. So O2YS is the actual manufacturer of the product. And of course, I would buy the stuff in bulk. We would repackage it in our own package. We would put the label on it, fill it, sell it, ship it out. So I made the decision to revert back to the O2YS label. So moving forward, I think I've got a handful of bottles left with the GCI logo on it, but everything going out the door after I run out of those labels will have the O2YS label on it. I've actually become a full-time distributor with them, and I signed our agreement the other day, licensing me, I guess is what you would say, to be able to distribute the product on the lawn care turf side of things, because I have a considerable amount of experience using this. I've been using it for many years now. I know exactly what it does. And not to dig into this too much right now, tomorrow I'm going to film another video specifically on the adjuvant. I'm going to go into great detail and tell you pretty much everything what this does and how it benefits your yard and your spray solutions and all kind of cool things. So I've got my O2 in the tank with my water and my herbicide. I'm ready to go spray, and basically I'm going to walk my yard back and forth, looking at every single little blade of grass, and every time I see a weed, I'm going to pull the trigger and spray that weed and continue on. I'm not going to stop and soak the weed because I have this calibrated. Again, watch that video so you can learn how to calibrate. And so I'm not going into a lot of detail on the adjuvant. I really don't have time. It's about dark, but I'll make that video tomorrow. One thing you should do before you actually walk and spray is you need to take a walk over your yard and get a good idea of where all your weeds are at. Now see, here's a pretty good patch of clover right here. I'm not going to change anything. I'm not going to sit here and try to saturate this area because I've got my sprayer calibrated. I'm going to trust my product and trust my equipment to do what it's supposed to do. So hey, I hope that gives you a little better understanding about basic weed control. Now, Remember to go in the description. You'll find a link for all this stuff, and then you'll also find one for that sprayer calibration video. Now be sure and like and subscribe, okay, because it's pretty important, because I'm going to talk about this adjuvant in a video in great detail, tell you every last little thing about it, how it's changed my company, absolutely changed my business for sure. How you use it, when to use it, what you can use it with, the whole 9 yards. I just need a minute to make that video. Now, as part of signing this deal with them, and I become the lawn care distributor, or whatever you want to call it, I can distribute to the professional side of things now, meaning if you're a pro applicator, I have pro pricing on this stuff. So it'd be the cheapest in the country, anywhere you can get it. So you can contact me. There's a link in the description for the pro guys that want to buy this in more of a bulk kind of way. You fill out a form. I'll send you the pricing via email. So hey, thank you for watching the video. I'm starting to put out a little more footage now. I got a little more daylight at the end of the day to make videos. You can see I'm about out of it now, so I'm gonna go in here and eat supper. But make sure you get your weeds right. Check you later. Hey, one more thing I forgot to tell you, man. I got 100 things going on at one time, so I forgot all about this. But if you go in the description, I've got a free guide for you that goes into sprayer calibration in pretty good detail. So make sure you go in there, click a little link. It's a PDF document. You can read through it, and it's got a lot of good detail in there for you.